Hello, Sassy Nari. Thank you for joining me today. So, I like to think of myself as an open minded parent who doesn't pressurize her daughter, चाहे academics की बात हो या कुछ और. But guess what I realized when I was researching for this episode? I realized that sometimes I do force her without realizing. And sometimes I'm too lenient. अब इसके बाद ये कॉन्वर्सेशन मेरे लिए और भी ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट हो गया. इस एपिसोड में मैं बात कर रही हूँ ऑथर आरती सोनथालिया से. She has a bunch of books like Big Bully and Me, Hungry to Read, Best Friends Forever, Hungry to Play and Read Write Race. इस एपिसोड का टॉपिक उनकी बुक मेहर्स वर्ल्ड ऑफ कलर्स से इंस्पायर्ड है, जिसमें एक ऐसी बच्ची की कहानी है जिसकी मदर उसे स्विमिंग सीखने के लिए फोर्स कर रही हैं, पर मेहर का इंटरेस्ट तो कुछ और ही है. वैसे तो ये बुक बच्चों के लिए है, पर इसने मुझे भी बहुत कुछ सिखाया है. आरती हरसेल्फ इज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर टर्न्ड ऑथर और हमने उनकी स्टोरी भी डिस्कस की है. मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली, दिस एपिसोड इज एन ओपन डिस्कशन बिटवीन टू पेरेंट्स अबाउट रेजिंग आवर किड्स. I learned so much from talking to Arti, and you'll also have some aha moments. Before jumping into the episode, please help me have more such conversations by sharing this episode with your friends. Just copy this link and send over WhatsApp, email, or even a simple text message. Hey Sassy Nari, welcome to Little Fixes. This is Maitri, a social media professional, a wife, and a mother. Marriage is one of the biggest steps we take. And on this podcast, we discuss finding ourselves after happily ever after. थोड़े ideas, थोड़े rants और बहुत सारा food for thought. Join me and my guest because we get you. And now to our guest. Hi Arti, welcome to Little Fixes.
Hi, Maitri. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
So Arti, I'm really excited for this interview because I loved your book, my daughter loved your book, and we are going to discuss a topic which is actually very close to my heart. We are going to talk about forcing our kids, and now with our generation, it is many times unknowingly forcing our kids. We are not even aware that we are making them do things which they probably don't want to do. So I would like to start with a question that because you have written books on kids, you have worked with kids, you meet so many kids and parents obviously. So what have you seen? What are some of the areas of our lives where we unknowingly force our kids?
So, I feel that each parent perceives the child with their perspective,
Hmm.
and everybody out there is looking for the well being of their child. That's their intention,
Yeah.
for every parent. But in this, we don't realize that sometimes, we pressurize them, as you said, unknowingly or knowingly.
Hmm.
Uh, so, some areas I feel that parents pressurize kids is specifically in academics.
Mhm.
They usually ask them to choose subjects which they think will be good for them. Whether the child is good at it or not doesn't really, matter too much. But they think, no, they will cope up, they will cope up. It's a trial and error sometimes. Sometimes they do cope up. But I think as a parent, you do get to know somewhere, if your child is good at this or not. Your insights do tell you. And
Hmm.
then forcing them, gets a little daunting for the child, I feel.
Hmm.
And then there are extracurricular activities where sometimes, the parent may have wanted to learn a music instrument or a particular sport, and then they force their kids because we didn't get the opportunity, so I'm giving it to you. Take it, take it. But, each child is different, and you cannot force them into things
Hmm.
which they do not like. And you will
Hmm.
know. Sometimes, as I said, it's a trial and error that you will know slowly. Like, you've introduced violin to them, but they are more inclined towards the drums or something. So then,
Hmm.
I think that shift that the child wants should be allowed by the parent.
Hmm.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. I think as parents, as you said, we have the best intentions. When I
Yeah.
was younger, my parents were very set on the idea of a government job. And I
Mm.
was the eldest kid. So I was not given a choice as such. I was like, ये करना है, अब ये करना है, फिर ये करना है. मतलब आपको गवर्नमेंट जॉब में जाना है, दैट वाज वेरी
Mhm.
क्लियर। और मतलब व्हेन आई वाज यंग, माय मॉम ऑलवेज टोल्ड अस कि जॉब तो करनी है बिकॉज यू हैव टू बी इंडिपेंडेंट। तो वो एक अच्छी चीज़ थी, बट उसमें भी एट द सेम टाइम दे वांटेड कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब में जाओ। माय
Mhm.
फादर वाज इन अ बैंक, तो मेरे से ये एक्सपेक्टेशन भी थी कि बैंक में जाओ। तो पढ़ाई से लेकर, आई मीन आई डिड नॉट लाइक साइंस और एनीथिंग, बट आई वाज अबव एवरेज, तो बोला गया साइंस पढ़ते हैं अच्छे बच्चे, तो साइंस पढ़ लो। आई डिड माय मास्टर्स इन माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, फिर मैं बैंक में चली गई। और आई क्विट माई जॉब एज सुन एज आई गॉट मैरिड, कि अब मुझे एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम मिल गया था कि हाँ मेरा हस्बैंड है मेरे साथ, एंड ही सेड कि इफ यू डोंट वांट टू डू इट, क्विट इट। तो आई गॉट लकी देयर कि ही वाज नॉट हंग अप ऑन अ सरकारी नौकरी, इवन दो ही इज ऑल्सो इन प्राइवेट सेक्टर। वो चीज़ हो गई। फिर उसके बाद आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग दिस सोशल मीडिया थिंग एंड आई enjoyed it. आई फिगर्ड आउट कि हाँ मुझे लिखना भी अच्छा लगता है, तो आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग कंटेंट राइटिंग एंड थिंग्स, और उसके बाद से आई केप्ट बिल्डिंग अपॉन इट। तो जब मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स का देखा कि मुझे ये लगता था ये लोग समझते क्यों नहीं है, कि मुझे ये करना है, या कुछ और पढ़ना है, कुछ क्रिएटिव इंटरेस्ट है, कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा, बस आपको एक लाइन पे जाना है। तो व्हेन आई गॉट प्रेग्नेंट आई वाज वेरी क्लियर कि मैं अपने बच्चे के साथ ऐसा नहीं करूँगी, एंड आई वांटेड अ डॉटर, आई गॉट अ डॉटर। फिर अननोइंगली मेरे मन में ये थॉट आ गया कि मुझे इसको आर्टिस्टिक फील्ड में ही भेजना है।
Hmm.
मतलब
Yeah.
कैसे भी सोच लो, आई वाज ऑलवेज लाइक कि आर्टिस्टिक होना चाहिए। इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि इंजीनियर बने या डॉक्टर बने या कुछ और कन्वेंशनल नहीं होना चाहिए। मेरा ये था कि शी शुड नॉट बी कन्वेंशनल, एंड टिल नाउ शी इज नॉट कन्वेंशनल, बट शी इज वेरी यंग, तो वी डोंट नो। एंड माई हस्बैंड इज ऑलवेज लाइक, कुछ भी बात होगी, ये चीज इंजीनियरिंग के लिए जरूरी है। हाउ डू यू नो कि वो इंजीनियर बनेगी? बिकॉज ही इज एन इंजीनियर, तो वो अपनी तरफ से देखते हैं, एंड बोथ ऑफ अस वांट हर टू डू हर थिंग। पर उसके
Hmm.
बाद भी जब हम लोग कुछ डिस्कशन करते हैं या कुछ भी होता है ना,
Yeah.
तो ये बहुत आ जाता
आ जाता है, आ
है
जाता
ना?
है.
तो
Agreed. Yeah.
जैसे आपके भी किड्स हैं, तो
Yeah.
व्हाट वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस लाइक?
Mhm. So, as you said, the family that you brought up in, that really plays a very, very big role. You know, I've been brought up in a business family, so I always had a business mind. But I became an author, so it is completely different from my family background and all. I have a son, and I always wanted him to do something that he wants to do. And he's very young right now. He's just still choosing and, doing things. But I think family setup really plays a big factor on the child, really plays a lot of sector until and unless the child himself has something else in his mind. Like, suppose I'm from business family, we're into textiles and all. So my parent father was very keen that I get into textiles. But I'm not very keen. I was not very keen. I was always inclined towards writing and reading. It was, I tried fashion for a bit. I mean, I tried jewelry designing. That did work for me, but it was not me. But on the other hand, I see my son, contradictory to what you said. He's a complete business person, a complete. He's all of 18, and he's been talking about work and business to his dad all day long, like for God knows how many years. And he wants to go to the factory and he wants to go to the office and work there and see there. So, it's something's coming to you and like something. So we all are different individuals, and that space of letting them think and is important for each parent. Sometimes I think parents are put at a spot, they also confused. It's not their fault, I feel, because they want with so much of societal pressure, and ultimately the child has to bring bread on the table. So they also feel, भाई ये करेगा क्या अगर ये नहीं करेगा तो घर में थोड़ी ना बिठा के रखना types. It is very human to think like that. And so we do push them as long as the push is a good push, and so, and I think again, there has to be a lot of balance, a lot of balance. Sometimes you need to listen to the child as well, a lot, a lot. And sometimes you need to lay down the rules as well. It's just what works at that moment. There cannot be any preformed, what works for you thing. They won't work for me. That I have really realized. I can listen out to you, and the people who are going to listen to this podcast, they can listen out to me. But I always feel do what works out for you. Do not copy paste somebody else's life. There is one Sachin Tendulkar, there is one Virat Kohli. I went to a school the other day on Friday, and most of the boys drew things, and they said, "We want to become Virat Kohli." Someone said Sachin Tendulkar. I said, "What's your name?" So someone said, "My name is Kanishk." I said, "I want to see a Kanishk. I don't want to see another Virat Kohli." So it's your thing. We always have a perceived things. It's Virat Kohli, or it's Sachin, or it's XYZ, or anybody for that matter. So this is what I think we need to tell the child. Make your ground. Learn, take their tips, take their techniques, but then create your own. That's what it's all about. Like in my books also, always people tell me that your books are very different from what other authors write. I said, yeah, because that's what I like to write about. I do not want to copy anyone else.
Yeah.
I just do not want to copy anyone else. I work backwards. My story is like first people think about the character and then the story comes up to them. For me, the story comes first. So, there's no, if you do a course also in story writing, they'll tell you have to go to the plot, the screen, the setting, everything, character-wise. But for me, the story is first. So there is no preformed thing that one can say for a child as well as for parenting as well. So it's like it's a lot of conversation which I think should happen at home between parent and child, and about all subjects, about everything. We should talk to them, so that there's an open ground for the child to speak up. That's important to give them that ground to speak up about any subject. It could be about subjects that we hide away from specifically, like sex and pornography and, queer, everything. As long as if a parent is clear in the head, the child soon would become clear. So even as a career thing, as you said, forcing them and all, if you are clear that, he will find his ground or she will find her ground. And of course, we have to give them exposure to a lot of stuff to see things and experience things. I guess that's how it is.
Yeah. And then there comes one more thing, which is या तो आप बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट हो या आप बिल्कुल
Hmm.
लीनियंट हो। अभी जो हमारी
Yeah.
जनरेशन के बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स हैं, वी आर ऑल्सो वेरी लीनियंट। और
Yeah.
हम लोग अपने बच्चे की हर चीज़ को पूरा करना चाहते हैं, हर
Hmm.
चीज़ की तारीफ़ करते हैं कि हाँ, ये बहुत अच्छा
Hmm.
किया है तुमने।
Hmm.
और फिर अभी मैंने ना एक रिसेंटली एक मूवी देखी थी, मिस्टर और मिसेज़ माही। आई डोंट नो इफ यू हैव वॉच्ड
Hmm.
इट।
No.
तो
No.
उसमें जो राजकुमार राव का कैरेक्टर है, दैट पर्सन वांट्स टू बी अ क्रिकेटर। तो हिज फादर गिव्स हिम अ चांस फॉर 2 years कि करके देख लो, और अगर हो गया
Hmm.
तो ठीक है, नहीं तो यू विल हैव टू सिट एट द शॉप। तो
Hmm.
वो नहीं सिलेक्ट हुआ और उसको अपने पापा के साथ दुकान पे बैठना पड़ा। बट ही वॉज ग्रजिंग हिज फादर थ्रू आउट द मूवी। आई डोंट
Hmm.
नो, आई समवेयर ऑल्सो सॉ द पॉइंट इन हिज फादर की चांस दिया तुम्हें, लेकिन तुम कब तक वही चीज करते रहोगे।
Hmm. Hmm.
And he also gave chance to his younger son who was a very popular actor.
Hmm.
तो मुझे यही नहीं समझ में आया कि उनके पापा का जो अप्रोच था वो ठीक था, मतलब वो मिडल अप्रोच था।
Hmm.
क्योंकि कई
Hmm.
बार हमारे पेरेंट्स ज्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट थे, कई बार हम
Hmm.
ज्यादा लीनियंट हो जाते हैं। तो व्हाट आर
Right.
योर
Right.
थॉट्स ऑन दीज अप्रोचेस?
That's a very challenging situation, for a parent, I feel. And the first thing that the child does is blame the parent. मेरे पापा ने मेरे को opportunity नहीं दिया, as you are saying. I haven't seen the movie, but what I'm gathering from you is that, but you said he gave him an opportunity for 2 years, and that feeling is always there, no? That the child has to bring bread on the table. How much can I support him? That factor is always there. So it is challenging for a parent. Yes, giving them opportunities is important. Again, setting ground rules is also very important for them. And again, being flexible on those ground rules is also, you know, it's a part of a journey. Like a small example, like I'll tell my child, you can't go out this whole week because you went out last week, you know. And he'll say, okay, Mama, I wouldn't. And we are all set. And suddenly after 4 days, he's like, Mama, my best friend's leaving for the US. And I need to say him goodbye. And his flight is at 1 o'clock in the night. And we all want to go to the airport to drop him. So it's a late night. And so you have to let that flexibility come. Okay, go. Because you laid the rules. But then again, you have to be flexible because he was not aware of that situation that is going to come up. Or sometimes they are, or they're just playing games. But then you just have to, be flexible. And then again, fine, you go out today, but then for the next 4 days you don't, or 5 days, like that. So it is going to be that twist and mold and flexible and lenient, plus with a lot of ground rules. And sometimes you have to say harsh things as well as to them to awaken them from their slumber, which I think today's generation is, all of them are, because of the screen completely. So I think, yeah, it's a very difficult parenting stage for all of us, I guess. Where we are stuck between giving them, as you said, fulfilling their desires and still drawing a line. Sometimes you have to put a hard heart and say no, but then again you have to be sure that yes, it's for the wellness of the child that you're doing. The replications may come out bad later or good, you don't know. So there's no short method. I feel that as a parent, because I'm no professional in this, but as a parent, just like a general parent, you are going to fall and you have to learn from your mistakes, and you're going to succeed, and next time you wouldn't succeed on that same thing. It's like that. So every day I'm learning, and every age is a learning time for me, because my child is 18 right now. So when they were younger, it was different. It was all love and all that, and of course setting some ground rules. But after they become teens, I think, and it's a complete shock for us, their behaviors, their way they change, and the way they are exposed to screen is unbelievable. And so you can just tell them the pros and cons of things, then it's up to them what they do. As I said, it's not, parenting is the most difficult thing to do today.
या आई एग्री विद यू बिकॉज पहले जब हमारे बच्चे छोटे होते थे तो सब लोग कहते थे कि ये वाला टाइम जो है ये डिफिकल्ट है, आगे बढ़ोगे सही हो जाएगा, बट आई थिंक इट गेट्स मोर डिफिकल्ट ग्रेजुअली, स्पेशली आजकल के टाइम में व्हेन किड्स हैव एक्सपोजर टू सो मेनी डिफरेंट थिंग्स.
Yes.
My daughter is 7, but many times she behaves like a teenager. I also get shocked कि
Yes.
क्या बोल रही है, क्या
Yeah.
कह रही है. आजकल एक टर्म बहुत चल रहा है, entitled kids. जो सभी
Yes.
आजकल बहुत सारे बच्चे
Yeah.
जिनको लगता है कि वर्ल्ड सिर्फ उन्हीं के अराउंड घूमता है और जो उन्होंने बोला है वो हो जाना चाहिए. और यू आर सेइंग कि रूल्स बनाओ लेकिन फ्लेक्सिबल भी रहो.
हाँ.
राइट.
हाँ.
तो
Yeah.
इज देयर अ बैलेंस, और या फिर यही बैलेंस है कि यू हैव टू बी फ्लेक्सिबल बिकॉज इट इज योर किड एंड यू कांट डू
No,
मच.
no, no. No, 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 no. I don't believe in that at all.
या
It is your kid and you have to do that. No. Even if they're entitled, for sure. I don't believe in entitled thing, because you've got it because of a certain reason. So you have to have gratitude towards it, and that is what the entitled kid lacks, gratitude, and so everything shouldn't be easy for them. At least I don't believe in this. Sometimes they need to earn a lot of things, from a parent and things like that. Like I have just made some ground rules at home for my son. He started getting the pocket money. So if you don't do this, like, don't go to work with Papa, like from morning to evening, you get paid half. He's not liking the whole idea, but that's how it is, because, it cannot come easy, So if you're not working outside with someone else, then, those rules remain the same at home as well, because they want to work because a lot of business families, what they do is they send their kids to someone else's, work, so that they learn the thing, but he doesn't want to go. So, okay, fair enough. But then the rules apply here as well. So for that, there is no flexibility, because then the child will take you on a ride.
True.
Yeah. So, you as a parent, you cannot allow the child to take you on a ride. I think that is one ground rule which I always feel. And as we spoke about, rules and flexibility, again, rules, those things will happen, but not for a younger child like yours, where you can lay down rules. But for an older child like mine, of course, there has to be a lot of flexibility, a lot of letting them think on their own and deciding and exploring what's right for them. I can tell him, like हमारे ज़माने में would say, नहीं जाना रात को बस खत्म बात. That's the end of the world. Today it is different, you know. It's different. You have to have your, of course, your timing lines, your money guidelines, and then coming back home sober, things like that. So that's for older kids, which we really, really need to put into their heads. That if you come home, you come back home sober. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I don't allow you. There's a chair outside. Please continue the night there. These things, there is no flexibility in that, of course. But for your younger kid, yeah, then the rules change. Then there is different thing that homework is important, work is important, play is important, screen time is less. So right now you can play with those rules of screen time, but for an older kid, you cannot. Like my son, I cannot play with screen times. Till he was in 12th, yeah, 10 o'clock, no laptop, after that, no mobile. So the moment he's crossed 12th, I don't even bother about it now. And he has to, find his own ground. He has to learn that if I sleep late, then I get up late and I'm like a zombie the whole day. So, that he has to learn, and he has learned I'm just sharing my experience. He has learned for a whole month, like he got his boards over in May and we're in July. So as I said, I didn't even bother with his laptop or mobile. That now it's this thing. It's done. My job is done with the, screen time. But he was going completely haywire, sleeping at 3 in the morning and things like that. So both of us could see it, my husband and all also. And he was at work, he was like all drowsy and lousy. So then, of course, we had to give him a piece of our mind that this is not going to happen. We're not going to take this. Either you don't come to work, you say that you want to stay, enjoy life, go ahead, but then you don't get pocket money. so things have to, as I gave him the freedom of having the laptop and the mobile with him, but it comes with a responsibility. Freedom has to be with a responsibility. You cannot expect to act like a young adult without, I always tell my son, you want to be a young adult, but it comes with responsibility. You can't, if I've given you a rope to move around, you can't walk all over the place. You have to find your path. Yeah, you will falter. Yeah, you will falter. There is no doubt about that. But, you have to slowly get your balance. You'll fall. That's fine. Like, I agree here. You are staying up till 3 in the night. Sometimes you want to. So make those nights your Saturday nights and sleep till how much of a time you want to. But work days, yeah, you got to be there properly on the table. And, so these things have to be taught, They're not just going to come like that to the children. So we apply the Western kind of education. What I have seen today is even small babies, we are applying the Western culture so much. It's unbelievable. Absolutely. As we started out with the podcast that, read, understand what other parents are saying, what philosophers are saying, child psychologists are saying, but see what works for you in your environment. That's the most important thing that, like, we all miss out on. Like, we see reels because someone is doing this, someone is doing that. And we as a parent come into anxiety. Look at this kid, he's doing this, he's doing that. That's fine. That's not for my child and for me. Let them be, That maturity as an adult, as a parent, is very important in every relationship, not only with kids, I think. Someone's husband has also got somebody a gift, and we'll be like, wow, look at that. They went out. Things like that, it's just going to spoil your marriage.
Yeah.
It's just going to ruin your relationship with somebody else. So I feel that balance and this maturity has to come in a parent. If it comes in us, no, the child will also slowly will get the balance. They will be out of balance for a bit. See, we cannot expect like wow individuals from our kids. Like as you shared that, you did microbiology and now you're into this, So if you would ask your parent that time you want to do this, they would have said, no, not at all. That's how our parents were that time. But today, yes, you are open to it, you will let them do it. But as long as you tell him that, you should be able to manage your own finance. That's very important. You should be able to raise your kid the way you want to. If you're okay to have, raise your kid just like that, then that's your business. So some certain points we need to be clear to them about what kind of a life do they envision for themselves as adults, young adults I'm talking about, especially after teenagers. Because the other day I met a cousin and her child is 10 and she like all of like a teenager. So I just gathered that, the 10 is the new teen. It's
10,
like that.
7 is the new teen. I think 5 ही new teen हो गया आजकल तो. I mean, I was not like her when I was a teenager. I was so scared of my
Cannot
parents.
be.
बोल तो सकते ही नहीं थे उनके सामने. She is
Yeah.
like, आप ऐसा मुझसे कैसे बोल सकती हो?
Yeah,
उल्टा है
yeah.
आजकल.
Yes, yes. But I think that's a very positive sign.
हाँ.
You know, I believe in this, that there is always room for conversation. We couldn't talk to our parents. That was not a very positive sign.
True.
I always think that. So I always have room to talk to my son. As I said, we discussed when he was maybe just turned like a teen. So I talked to him when he was first given the laptop in school, since he's from an IB school, so they got a laptop very quickly. So explained to him the good websites, the bad websites. There will be pornography. There will be this scenes. How are you going to deal with this? So, conversation has to be there. We cannot be with our children in today without conversation like we had with our parents. As you said,
हाँ.
बात ही नहीं कर सकते थे, बोल ही नहीं सकते थे, एक बार आंख दिखाते थे तो finished काम. Be quiet types. It's like that. But no, we can't do that. Because we've seen the repercussion hasn't been very great of that.
Yeah.
ठीक है, एक respect था, but that respect was filled with a lot of fear.
Fear, yes.
Yeah. But our children need to respect us for what we are as an individual. And that's what role modeling comes into them. Modeling behavior, which we constantly, everyone's talking about. So if our behavior and maturity is good, and then children will respect us. It's not about, answering back. They will answer back because we've given them room to answer back to us. But we should know how to tell them back also. But fair enough, you have answered me back, but you can be softer. I don't like this behavior. So, when you are ready to talk to me in a good voice, without a tantrum, I'm more than happy to listen to you. But not in this voice. I wouldn't talk to you like that. Please leave for some time. So those ground rules, as we said, they are laid, but then cool down, come back, I'm flexible. I'm open for you. Like that.
When I talk to my daughter, कभी कभी वो ये बोल देती है कि आप सिर्फ अपने हिसाब से सोच रही हो या फिर आप मेरे लिए कुछ करना ही नहीं चाहती हो. लाइक इट्स वन ऑफ हर फेवरेट डायलॉग्स. चाहे कुछ भी कर लो बट कुछ ना घूम फिर के शी विल से कि मेरे लिए ये चीज़ नहीं करनी है आपको. और सच भी है बिकॉज दे कैन नॉट सी सो फार इन फ्यूचर कि हम ये चीज़ क्यों कर रहे हैं. हम लोग हमारे मम्मी पापा बोल देते थे तुम्हारे भले के लिए बोल रहे हैं, कर लो. हम कर लेते थे. अभी अपने बच्चों से बोलो, दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. उनको अभी चाहिए कि आपने ये बोला तो क्यों बोला और मैं ये क्यों करूं. चाहे आप कितना भी समझा लो, उनका अलग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू होता है. तो ये चीज उनको कैसे और अच्छे से समझा सकते. लाइक वन थिंग आई टोल्ड माई डॉटर, लाइक शी लाइक्स हाउ आई लिव, कि मम्मी आप अपना शेड्यूल अपने आप डिसाइड कर लेती हो, आपको जो खरीदना होता है खरीद लेती हो. लाइक शी हैज टू कम टू अस कि मुझे ये चीज दिलवा दो. और आपकी जो लाइफ है बड़ी कूल है. तो आई ऑल्सो वॉन्ट अ लाइफ लाइक दिस बट आई वॉन्ट इट राइट नाउ. तो आई टोल्ड हर, मतलब पता नहीं मुझे ये आइडिया आया, मैंने उसको बताया कि बिल्डिंग के नीचे फाउंडेशन होती है. तो फर्स्ट तो शी वाज सरप्राइज्ड, बट हाँ उसको समझ में आया. तो आई थिंक वो एक पॉइंट जो था, मैं उसको बार बार बताती रहती हूँ और उसको समझ में आने भी लगा है. पर फिर भी बच्चों को उतना अच्छे से नहीं समझ में आता कि ये हमारे भले के लिए है. तो इज देयर अ वे टू टेल देम कि हाँ व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज गुड फॉर यू, या फिर इस चीज को छोड़ ही दें?
नहीं, वी हैव टू रीजन आउट विद देम. बिल्कुल. एंड जो वो बोलते हैं कि आपकी लाइफ बड़ी अच्छी है, यू आर वेरी सॉर्टेड एंड ऑल दैट, सो बोलो यस, थैंक गॉड दैट इट इज सॉर्टेड. इट वाज ऑलवेज नॉट लाइक दैट. I've sorted it with maturity. I've sorted it with time. There was a time when I was also confused like you, which is okay to be confused. Only when we are confused, we'll come up with solutions. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any solutions for us, you know. So good, अभी आप confused हो, आप सोचो, easily नहीं आएगा, आपको इस पे मेहनत करनी है, आपकी foundation, as you said, foundation बनाना पड़ेगा पहले, and you have to solve life every day, you know. So if we portray them a rosy picture, कि नहीं मेरे लाइफ में कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं है, मेरे को कुछ होता नहीं है, ये भी वो समझते हैं कि इनकी तो लाइफ मस्त है, मैं मेरे तो रोज प्रॉब्लम्स है, बट वी नीड टू टेल इट आउट टू देम, यू नो, look, even I have my set of issues, you know, but I try to solve them and give a better living to all 3 or 4 of us, how many ever you are at home, so that we lead a peaceful life and a good life. And that's what you would need to do. And how can you do that right now if you want to do it? Let's start with your schoolwork. Sort out your schoolwork, complete your homework, go out to play, do what you want, you know. So you're sorting out. You know how to sort out. That's how you begin. And then you will know how to sort out your teen life. Then you will know how to sort out your adult life. So you have to sort life every day. Then you have to explain to them about finance as well when she's ready to understand that it's not easy, you know, that Papa's earning, I am doing my bit, Papa's earning. So that is how you are getting your things, you know. And we do not, give them everything they demand. I personally do not believe in that. But everything that they demand is not fulfilled. Yes, you will get it, but when you need it. So that conversation, as I said, has to be there. कि आपने बताया कि हाँ तुम्हारे भले के लिए कर रहे हैं, but that भलाई का picture उनको आज दिखाना पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
कि what is it that I am thinking about? You know, so I have to really give a lot of reasoning to my son, and I've been doing it for the longest time. You know, since a lot of things, like slowly, you know, children want to indulge in bad habits because the other kids are doing it, and it's school. So then, you know, you start telling them the real meaning of cool. What is cool? You know, like suppose even you can start off now as well, like, you know, you're seeing some videos and someone is smoking and drinking. That's not cool, you know. And you see a kind act and you can say, that's cool, man. Wow. So the meaning of cool fits into their mind. But of course, it's what they choose later again. But at least you've done your groundwork as a parent. You know, I think that works.
हाँ, अगर फाउंडेशन स्ट्रांग है तो यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट कि हाँ बिल्डिंग अच्छी रहेगी.
राइट, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. बिल्डिंग गिर सकती है बट फिर खड़ी भी हो जाएगी. दैट इज द
हाँ, मतलब
पॉजिटिविटी टू इट.
लाइफ इज ऑब्वियसली अप्स एंड डाउन्स,
यस.
तो चलता रहेगा.
या
एंड
या
आरती, आई वाज रीडिंग योर बुक मेहर्स वर्ल्ड ऑफ कलर्स. तो उसमें जो आपने उस बच्ची की स्टोरी बताई है, माय डॉटर एंजॉयड इट अ लॉट. और फिर उसमें जब मैंने अपने तरीके से पढ़ी, उसने ये देखा, उसको जब मैंने उससे पूछा तो शी सेड कि देखो उसकी मम्मी उसको फोर्स करती थी और बच्ची को ये करना था. फिर उसकी मम्मी मान गई. उसने मतलब अपने 7 ईयर ओल्ड व्यू से
या
देखा. फिर जब
या
मैंने पढ़ी तो उसमें मैंने बहुत सारी और भी चीज़ें देखी कि
या
जैसे उसकी भी आदत है, स्कूल में क्लास में गई, किसी बच्चे को देखा और उसके बारे में एक जजमेंट बना लिया कि वो तो शैतान है, वो तो मीन है.
या
लेकिन आपकी बुक
या
इस चीज़ को एड्रेस करती है कि बच्चे कैसे समझ
या
सकते हैं कि दूसरे बच्चे में भी
या
बहुत सारी लेयर्स होती हैं. तो एक
या
वो चीज़ मुझे अच्छी लगी. फिर उसमें आपने ग्रैटिट्यूड के बारे में भी बात की है.
या
तो वो चीज़ थी. और फिर उसकी जो मम्मी का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू था, उसको समझना कि वो नहीं जानती थी, क्योंकि बच्ची भी कहीं न कहीं अपनी मम्मी से स्कैर्ड थी एंड शी
या
न्यू हर सिचुएशन कि उसकी मम्मी सिंगल पेरेंट है, तो वो बेस्ट
या
कर रही है अपना, तो शी वाज़ डूइंग
या
इट. बट शी वाज़
या
ऑल्सो स्केयर्ड कि न बोलूँगी तो पता नहीं मम्मी क्या करेगी, राइट?
या
तो सब चीज़ें आपने कवर की हैं और आई थिंक एक अच्छे तरीके से प्रेज़ेंट किया है. तो ये जो आपने लिखा, इसको आपने स्टोरी जो थी ये आपने कहीं देखी थी या फिर यू केम अप विद इट, या फिर यू लाइक अलग-अलग चीज़ें देख के आपने उनको बनाया?
I don't know, the story just came up to me like in my mind, you know.
हुँ,
And I see actually a lot of parents also sometimes, you know, relations, me, friends, me, and all that, how they're forcing their children into things that they don't want to do, which I
हुँ,
feel is not right. You know,
हुँ,
किसी को बायोलॉजी नहीं लेना, आप बिना मतलब कि उसको फोर्स कर रही हो, बायो लो बायो लो बायो लो. वो पढ़ ही नहीं सकता है साइंस, उसकी बस की बात नहीं है. You know, don't do that to the child. I always feel that at least इतना सोच समझ उसको, भले आपको लगता है कि इसमें है डॉक्टर बनने की कला, कोई बात नहीं है, बट ये नहीं कर सकता है बायो भाई, इसको डर लगता है, he doesn't like it, leave it to the child to decide. वो
हाँ,
बाद में अपनी गलती से सीखेगा, अगर भले यू नो आई फील दैट ठीक है, मे बी ही वुड हैव बीन अ गुड डॉक्टर बट ही डिडंट चूज साइंस, ठीक है, he will learn the biggest lesson of life then, you know, later in life. I feel that sometimes. Meher's World of Colors, yes. I feel it comes very naturally to me, the story, the gratitude part, as you said. These things are very important for children to, see, learn, which in the screen world we miss out on.
हम्म,
And we have learned that. So it's important that kids learn the basic things of life. And what better way than to learn from books?
yeah,
What better
true.
way? Yeah. And yes, gratitude for mama, for sister, for everybody, for the teacher. Especially, I think the teacher plays a big role in the book,
Yes.
the coach. Yeah.
Mhm.
So any teacher today can be that coach or be that friend or mother also as well, that for that matter. So of course your daughter just picked up one point कि उसने मान लिया, but you know,
लेकिन मुझे उसको 2-3 बार अभी पढ़ना पड़ेगा, फिर उसको समझ में आएगा कि
eh,
हाँ और क्या-क्या टेकअवेज़ हो सकते हैं। दो आई डिड टेल हर कि इसमें और
discuss.
भी चीज़ें हैं।
Yeah. या मम्मा ने माना क्योंकि बच्चे ने राइट बात बोली. She gave her space to the child. Yeah. But जरूरी नहीं है that is only love by just listening to you all the time.
या
So, yeah, that's a big thing, you know. I had to explain to my child when maybe he was your daughter's age or maybe 10 or something. He would say that उसने मेरी बात नहीं मानी, you don't like me. इसने नहीं मानी तो you don't like me, you don't love me ना. I said, no, that's not the meaning of love and like. Love and
हुँ,
like mean showing you the right path.
हुँ।
You know, that's the meaning of love and like. Me agreeing to you, no, that's bossism. You're bossing over me or I'm bossing over you, you know? Simply. So the bigger picture of life and bigger picture of love is when I tell you that, look, I'm not happy with what you're doing. We would like some changes. Or you
हुँ,
telling me, Mama, I'm not, and I receiving that and bringing about that change.
या,
So you don't hate me and I don't hate you. I love you. And we all both want each other's growth in that process. And that's how it should be. So it took a
ट्रू।
lot of time, but yeah, you know, if I would refuse something to him and other kids were getting it, like, so you would say, they get it and I don't. Why can't you give it to me? And things like that. Because I love you. That's why I don't want to give it to you right now, you know? So,
वाह!
so we have to, like, if you discuss the books with them, with the child, when you show these bigger pictures to them,
हुँ,
which is like, that's how we can implant these small, small values into them, I feel.
हुँ, हुँ।
And we're not being preachy also at the same time.
Yeah, that is very much required. And Aarti, before I let you go, please tell us what new you're working on. Matlab, maybe you cannot tell
Mhm.
us, but is
Yeah.
there something new in the making?
Yes, yes, there is something new in the making. It's again, uh, it's again a topic, a very sensitive topic. About, I don't know if it'll be published or not also right now. But I've been working on a child's thing that how we think that because I am in a certain way, God has
Hmm.
made me in a certain way, and that's not good, and someone else is good because they are in a certain way. Like,
Oh, that is very difficult, and I'm so happy that you are working on it because it also comes down to self-worth for my kid. वो दूसरों से
yeah,
बहुत जल्दी कंपेयर करने लगते हैं। तो आई हैव
yes,
बीन लुकिंग फॉर बुक्स कि उसमें कैसे सेल्फ वर्थ लाया जाए और वो पीयर
yeah,
प्रेशर में ना आए कि दूसरों के पास ये
yeah,
है या फिर दूसरा ऐसा दिखता है या मतलब
yeah,
कंपैरिजन के ट्रैप
yes,
में ना जाए।
yes,
तो
yes.
आई होप कि आपकी बुक पब्लिश हो एंड वी गेट टू रीड
Thank
इट।
you. So even Simi stands tall, the one before Meher's World of Colors.
हाँ।
I'm sure your daughter's going to love it.
हुँ,
And it's again about a lot of self-worth and
हुँ,
standing tall for what you believe in and not getting attracted. Of course, you do get attracted, but then holding yourself and realizing what is right and what is wrong for me. So Simi stands tall is again one of my favorites, where the child learns how to make a balance. I just hope my new one also just reaches out to a lot of kids. It's one I'm working on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, wonderful. So it was really special talking to you, Aarti. I really enjoyed talking to you. So thank you for giving us your time, your insights, and
thank you.
talking very openly, sharing your own
Yes.
stories, listening to my stories. So I think
Yeah.
we had a very interesting conversation. Thank you
Yes, we
for
did. Even I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much, Maitri. Thank you so much.
अगर आपको ये एपिसोड वैल्यूबल लगा तो प्लीज हेल्प लिटिल फिक्सेस रीच मोर पीपल बाय शेयरिंग इट विद समवन यू केयर अबाउट. यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव अस अ शाउट आउट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. मेरा हैंडल है @littleFixesPodcast. दिस हेल्प्स मी इन ग्रोइंग द पॉडकास्ट और बहुत सारे और लोगों की हेल्प भी होती है इसको सुन के. आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर योर टाइम. अब मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वेडनेसडे को. तब तक के लिए खुद से प्यार करते रहो और सदा सैसी रहो. बाय. When I started this podcast in 2019, I didn't know much about the tools available and struggled with poor audio quality, blurry videos, and even losing the recording. Now I have switched to Zencastr. Zencastr not only gives me high quality audio and video podcast production, but also keeps the recording safe with its multi-layer backups even when the internet is unstable. It has a post-production feature which automatically removes sounds like and also reduces background noise with a click of a button. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code LFP and you will get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Zencastr is free to try and their hobbies plan is always free.